Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful fall day here today, and it's the time of the year where you start to kind of think about the garden in many different ways. For me personally, I have a lot of chores remaining in the garden. These massive trees are still going to shed all their leaves, and it's going to be a big, beautiful mess over the next few weeks. And before all that starts to take over, I have a few chores that I wanted to address in the garden. And one of them is these beautiful blueberry planters that I have here on the side. As winter is approaching, I am a little bit unsure if these blueberry plants are going to make it in these pots over the winter. So I am actually thinking of replanting them. I have two big raised beds in the back garden over there. I will walk over and show you, and I'm thinking of actually planting them in those planters for the winter, and perhaps if they do well in there, I might make them their permanent home. So I have about 5 blueberry plants here, and they are already starting to change their beautiful fall colors. And I just love these plants. Even if all the birds ate the berries this year, I just love these plants for their foliage. So I kind of want to move them, save them, and not want to lose them over the winter. So I'll show you where I am planning to put these plants. I garden in Toronto in Zone 6. For those of you who are joining me today for the first time, I welcome you to my channel. And if you I try to post about all things that I'm doing in my garden, and I also have a lot of indoor plants that I will focus on in the winter time. But I just, have these two beautiful raised boxes towards the very back of my garden in the backyard, and I have two beautiful beds on both sides, and I have this beautiful walkway, and it's kind of nice because I can access this bed from all sides. And I kind of made this bed here to take advantage of a bit of a slope condition that I have, just as an aesthetic thing that I could utilize for planting, and also it looks really nice. So my plan is to actually use this side of the bed. Last year I had planted 2 double play doozy spirea, which actually came back really beautifully in the spring, but for some reason one of them has died. At least I think it's dead, because all of the branches are completely dry and dead. So I don't know if this still has life in it. I might just leave it and see what it does next year. But I think all the rest of the space in this bed I am going to utilize to put my blueberry plants. I was initially thinking I have this hydrangea prime here, which actually didn't do too badly for its first year. It was a really dry summer for us, and there's a lot of scorching on this plant, but I think it'll do better next year. And I'm going to just leave it here and maybe think about it next year what I want to do with it. But I kind of like it there. I'm going to maybe leave it there and then plant my blueberry plants around it. Also, the soil level has gone down quite a bit, so I might have to add some more soil and raise the plants a little bit. So I might do that as well. So I kind of want to put the blueberry plants in this bed here. And then I also have some foxglove babies here, which I will transplant to another spot. I also have a dahlia here, which is blooming. So I just want to kind of clean up this bed, and I wanted to show you what this looks like before I start moving the blueberry plants, and just to give you a good idea of what this looks like. And I think they will probably do really well here in this bed. And the other side, this bed has evolved into more of a cut flower kind of garden. There is a lot of seeds that I might throw in here, might grow some bulbs. And I might also interplant some bulbs with the blueberry shrubs in here for spring. So it just gives me a good idea to kind of, as a sandbox, to play with other things in here. And I actually did that. I grew foxglove seeds in here, and I also grew some echinacea seeds in here, which I have transplanted in this spot here, so that next year I can have a little drift of echinacea plants in here. So these are we'll see how they do. I just recently transplanted them here, and I think I'm going to do the same with the foxgloves. I'm going to transplant them somewhere in this spot so that they can kind of have a bit of a display for next year. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get going. I have some soil over here, bags of soil, so I'm just going to dump some soil in there. If I need to raise these shrubs that are there in the raised bed, I might, or I might just work around it and just fill out the pots where I'm putting the blueberry plants. And that's what my plan is for today. Lots of cleanup to be done. As you can see, plants are, slowly starting to phase out, and I have to come in here and start cleaning up a little bit. I don't do a whole bunch of fall cleanup. I will cut certain things, but most of my plants I just leave it till it's spring. So that's the plan. I will get going, and I will show you as I go along, as I'm progressing, how I am moving along with this project. And the goal is to get the blueberry plants out of those pots in more permanent homes. And if for whatever reason next year I change my mind, I might transfer them back. But I think I like that as a spot for them, and they'll get lots of sun there, and they will look beautiful, and I'll be able to control the soil a little bit more acidic for them in that contained space. So that's the plan. I'm going to get them in there, and I'll show you some few things along the way, if not what it looks like when I'm all done. Wow, it's really starting to rain, and it's super windy right now, so I might have to take a bit of a break. But I wanted to show you that I transplanted the foxgloves in this spot here. This is a more of a pot shade location. So I got about 5 plants or so from the little patch that I had there. I was able to separate them and plant them in this spot. So I'm hoping they survive and they do well in this spot. So I've moved those over for now, and I'm going to take a bit of a break because it's really starting to get super windy, and it's raining, and things are flying everywhere. So I'm just going to take a bit of a break from this, and I'll come back and finish planting my blueberry plants, and I'll show you as I'm doing that. I wanted to show you that I am done planting the blueberry shrubs in this back raised garden planter, and I absolutely love how this turned out. I think they're going to be much happier here, and I'm going to be a little bit less stressed about them overwintering in the containers. I think they would have been okay in those containers, but I wasn't just sure if the terracotta pots would freeze or crack and all of that stuff. So I was a little bit unsure. So, but I do like them here, and I wanted to show you how beautiful they look with their fall color. And I think it's going to really add a lot of interest in this bed, and I'll be able to control the acidity of the soil, the pH level of the soil to match what they need. And if I am planting other things around it, I will plant things that'll be okay in that type of a soil. So I still have a limelight prime hydrangea in here, which I think I'm going to leave here, because as it grows and gets a bit taller, it's going to actually look nice here. And next year I might add some things in the front over here as pillars, because then it's kind of going to add this beautiful color. And I think as I find plants that are interesting to add along the borders and sides, I will add them to this box. And on this side, actually, I wanted to tell you, I did remove the double play doozy spirea. When I dug it out, it was completely dead, and I don't think it's going to come back next year. So I just completely removed it because there was no life in that. I scratched the bark. It was all brown and dry, so it's all, I think that one was done. But I did leave this one over here, and if it comes back nicely next year, I might just leave it there. And I actually put grass in the back there because it wasn't doing so well in the ground. So I'm going to put it there and see if it comes back nicer next year. Then I might move it to another spot in my garden. So for now, these and then I did top it with more soil. So there is definitely more soil than what I started with. I put, I think, 5 bags in each of these boxes, and I did that, and it looks considerably better. And then what I also did was put my foxgloves in there, in that spot there, and I think these will hopefully do well in this area here and create a little patch for next year. And then I had some echinacea seedlings in this planter box as well, which I peppered around here. So that is something I have done as an update to this back border, and I think in the long run that will be probably a good choice for this area. And I just want to show you a little bit from the distance how this is starting to look. And I love the color and the shape of the foliage, and how it's filled up that bed, and I think it's looking really pretty. And as I add other plants around it, I think it's going to look nice, and that limelight prime will hopefully get larger and fill in the center as the thriller plant. And then these are more like the fillers, and then the spirea is a filler, and I might add something here as well. And then next year I'm going to think about something that can climb this trellis. I had beans and cucumbers this year, but I can think about something that's more ornamental that I can plant there. I love growing beans, so I might just continue growing the hyacinth beans in there. And then it's probably gonna look okay, but I have to see the compatibility between the beans and the blueberries, if that's a good combination or not, because you have to consider when you're planting berries, what are some things that you can plant with them that as companions, and some things that are a complete no-no. So I could not plant nightshade vegetables in here, so tomatoes and eggplants and all that kind of stuff, and I think even certain kind of cabbage family vegetables. So I will have to do a little bit of research in terms of what I can plant there that can climb up the trellis. I might do morning glory, I might do something else. If you have other suggestions for me that I can plant that can grow up this arch and arbor, do let me know in comments below. But here is a little short video on a garden update that I was doing, and I thought I would bring you along. And I just also wanted to quickly show you what remains on this side of the bed. So this side of the bed still has the two double play doozy spireas. They're doing good. Let me go over on the other side and show you from there. These are still doing pretty well, so I did add more soil in here. I do have my limelight prime hydrangeas. I mean, they didn't do super well this year. They didn't really have any big blooms, but I also haven't fertilized, and I haven't done any of that this year. I just wanted the roots to settle for this year, so I wasn't expecting a big performance from them. And then this is the other double play doozy spirea, and then I have a lot of bleeding hearts sunflowers with this dark foliage. So these I grew from seeds last year. I just threw some seeds in here, and they came back really well, and I think I'm gonna just leave them here because they add a nice interest in here, and hopefully next year they'll be taller than this. And they are actually really beautiful with the dark foliage, and the flowers are more of an orange kind of yellow, which I absolutely love. They are just so beautiful. So I think overall this turned out good. I feel better about doing this now, and I'm going to plant some bulbs in here as well for spring. I might plant some tulips and some daffodils in here, so that's the plan. So yeah, everything turned out okay. It was very windy and stormy yesterday, and I got a few things done, and I couldn't take you along because it was raining, and I continued to push through. But this morning I just wanted to come out here and show you the project's completion and what it looked like. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and you are also rethinking. Fall is a great time to reflect and rethink and see what things are going to be for next year and what they're going to look like. I just absolutely love these blueberry plants here, and I'm glad I moved them here. I feel better about it, and just wanted to take you along and show you what I have done so far, and more videos to come from me because I still have bulb planting to do, and I'll take you along and I'll share with you the bulbs that I'm adding. That's it from me, and I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. My garden is more in a cleanup mode and prep and planning mode, so there's lots of things everywhere, but that's what fall is usually like, and in my garden at least. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the the spring and the fall, prep and planning and coming out here and doing stuff. So I enjoy that. And with that, thank you again so much for watching. And I am going to catch you in my next video. If you're new and you made it so far, do consider subscribing, and I hope you will follow me along for more videos to come from me. Thank you again for joining. I hope everyone has a fabulous day wherever you're joining me from. Thank you.